Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Cafe of Knowledge. So glad that you all are tuning in today. Want to say thank you, welcome, hit like, and please hit subscribe, please. Anyway, we're going to go into, this is our chapter 5, and we are going to talk about first in and first out. That's what your products in different stores. We talk about this is pertaining to retail stores, restaurant stores, furniture stores, auto stores, even in the airline industry, wherever you are, even if you work in a CD shop or wherever. This pertains first in, first out, and give you a meaning of what we are talking about. All this has to do, now that you know how to do inventory and you know how to track inventory now this part here, first in, first out, chapter 5, is going to explain to you when your deliveries come in, when your items come in, how you set and position those items to sell. Okay, so let's get into that. And another thing I want to tell everyone is that if you want to, you can get my book. It's called Inventory Control Easy. This is it right here. Inventory Control Easy. And a lot of people just get that book as a walk-in tool or walk-in best friend, they call it. What it does is when they're on the job, or if they are in the process of doing their inventory and get stuck with something, they usually would refer back to the book. They use it as a walking best friend. Every time they go to work, it goes to work. Every time they do inventory, it does inventory with them. That way, if any type of area they kind of get stuck in, they refer back to the book, and then they come out of that area to where it's kind of complicated, and then they can read it, look over it, and then they know exactly what to do. So and then they do that, and I still use it myself sometimes. It's always a good thing that you can always refresh your memory. Even it doesn't matter how good you are at what you do, how well you master what you do, you can always refer back and be like, oh man, I forgot about that little point right there. I'm getting ready to do that. So it's a good tool and a good thing. And you can always go to Google and type in Inventory Control Easy, Nichelle Jones, and it will pop up and tell you where you can order the book from. Okay? But the same thing that we are doing in these sessions, in these courses, all the way up from week 1, level 1, all the way up to now, is also inside the book. And the book goes into a deeper depth as well on everything. But I also do it on video with you guys on the Cafe of Knowledge. Okay, so let's go right into chapter 5, first in, first out. And then you have a last in, last out. So let me explain to you how that will go. Okay, now first of all, first in, first out. Okay, that means this is when the older items or products are sold first. The older items or products are sold first. Okay, and the company uses this when they are concerned about spoilage or discontinuing items. Okay? Now, food stores, usually all food stores, like if they sell food in a gas station or in a restaurant or fast food place, wherever, mostly fast food places use the term first in, first out. Okay? because most of their items have expiration dates. Okay? The item will lose quality in a short period of time. First in, first out items need to be sold quickly. So when things have an expiration date on them, we talked about this before, like say milk, or sour cream, something like that, they have expiration dates on them, and they have to be sold by a certain day. So that's the reason why those when they come in, they trying to sell them, because they only have a short amount of time to sell those products. Then they have to throw those products away. And that's the purpose of having a par level and not ordering too much, because you don't want to throw things away. Okay? So that's what first in, first out is. Mean that the first in and you trying to get it first out. You're rotating them because they have expiration dates that needs to be beat. You got to sell that item before the expiration date. Otherwise, you do have to discard it and lose money, and that hits your bottom line profit and all that good stuff. That have your inventory saying that you're short of something and all that stuff there. So these items have to be sold quickly. Okay, this will prevent items from sitting on the shelf too long to spoil. Okay, now first in, first out, it makes your bottom line looks good, because you getting rid of it real quick and you're bringing in money quick. So it makes your bottom line profit looks good. But if you mess around there and it spoils and you have to throw it away, that makes your profit line look bad and decrease, minus, and it makes you have to throw it away, mess up your inventory. So that's what first in, first out is. Usually people that sell food stores use that term, first in, first out. Okay, because they have expiration dates that has to be sold. Okay, it has to be sold by those expiration dates, or if they will spoil. That prevents spoilage. Okay, so that's what first out, first in, first out mean. Okay, then you have a last in, first out. Last in, first out. Now, this is the newest inventory is sold first. Means like whatever comes in the door is sold first. Okay? Now remember, your first in, first out is the expiration dates. So when anything comes in, you put it behind the expiration date, because the one in front is the one that's going to expire first. Then it goes to the next one. And you will see that in a supermarket or a grocery store somewhere, where you will see they have milk lined up, and the milk that's going to expire first will be in the front. And when the delivery truck come and bring more milk, they'll put that milk behind the one in the front, because the one in the front is getting ready to expire, and that's the one they need to get out the door. Okay, so that's the first in, first out way. Now, the last in, last out. Okay, the last in, first out. Excuse me. The last in, first out means is when something comes in and you put it right in the front. Okay, now usually the people that use this is a furniture store, jewelry store, electronic store, CD or music store, DVD store, something like that. That's the ones that use the last in, first out. Okay? Now, the last in, first out is when the newest products are sold first. The newest products coming in the door are being sold first. Okay? And the companies use this for products or items that don't spoil. Okay? When you do last in, first out, they do that for items that don't spoil. Okay? Now, like we said, that's like in a furniture store, jewelry store. That's just like if you're if you working in a jewelry store, and then they have this new ring that comes out. Or the new ring with the new earrings and all that stuff. They come out and it hits the door and come inside of the jewelry store. Well, that's the one you wants to put up front because it's new. But they don't have expiration dates. It doesn't have a spoilage time or anything like that. So you can put that item in front of another item because probably the gold chain behind that came in a month ago, you don't have to worry about that gold chain spoiling. Or expiration date is on the gold chain. You don't have to worry about that. You can put whatever comes in front of that and sell this first because you don't have to worry about the chain spoiling. Okay, so that's where they use the last in, first out at. They use it at a jewelry store, furniture store. Like a furniture store, you go into a furniture store where they have a lot of furniture, and then they have nice furniture, and then when a delivery truck comes in, he's bringing them, say, a nicer sectional or a nicer dinette set. Well, the company is going to put that in the front of all the other furniture that they had in the store. Because that right there is a nice set. It's it's a new set that just came in the building. So they're going to put that up front and hoping that they could sell that first. And there's nothing wrong with the other furniture. It's just that this is new. Like we just said, last in, it just came in, first out. They want to try to sell that as quick as they can. So they put that up front because it's a probably new style, the new year or the new month style or whatever. But they will put that up in the front to sell it. And it's not going to bother all the other furniture because all the other furniture is not going to spoil or have an expiration date on it. People could just walk around and pick what they want. But the one that just came in is the one that they will try to sell first. Okay, because it's a newer product or a newer item. And it go the same way with a DVD shop, a CD shop, or whatever. The new music that is out and it comes in, they're going to put that new music in front of the old music. But that old music don't have an expiration date on it because it's going to spoil or because it's going to go bad or anything like that. It all will sell for a whole year. You can have it all sitting there for a whole year. It'll never spoil or anything like that. So that's why, like in a CD place or warehouse place, something like that, that week, whatever new music is out or somebody release a new album and they have a shipment come into their store, they're going to put that new album or that new CD in the front so that people can sell it because it's a new hot item. They can put that in front of the other CDs or whatever because that's what's hot right now. So you don't have to worry about any spoilage. So that's what the last in, first out means. Okay? So that's when you use that term when you're dealing in those type of businesses or companies. Okay? And those are the businesses and companies that use last in, first out. Places like furniture store, jewelry store, CD store, warehouse store, things like that. They use that. Okay? Then you have a term called specific identification. Specific identification. This is, it tracks the actual cost of each individual piece in inventory. Companies that sell very expensive, okay, items, they use this specific identification. Okay, so I just gave you first in, first out. You know, that's kind of known for people who sell food. Then I gave you the last in, first out. That's for companies that furniture store, jewelry store, CD store. Then you have another area that's called Pacific Identification. These are companies that sell very expensive items such as cars, like a car lot. They don't use the first in, first out. They don't use the last in, first out. They don't use that. Theirs is Pacific Identification. That means that they sell very expensive items such as cars. Okay? And what happens with that is you might have a car that has rims on it, and then one car don't have rims on it. Okay, one car might have a stereo system in it. The other car don't have a stereo system in it. Okay, you might have where this is how it works. The company sells these very expensive items. Cars use this system. They use the system due to each one of the items that have different accessories. So the Pacific Identification term is used when people are selling real expensive things, such as a car, or maybe a mobile home, a trailer home. Say the traveling trailers that you can hitch on the back of your pickup truck and you can travel with it and have a little couch and a kitchen and a living room and a bathroom and have all little things like that. People that sell big items like that usually cost about $25,000, $30,000, $50,000. One item costs that much and more. They use the term Pacific Identification. They don't use that first in, first out term, last in, first out term. Their term is Pacific Identification because they sell their items according to what each item has in it. What if this car is loaded and have rims and have a stereo system, surround sound, and a GPS system or whatever, they base the price off of that. And that's going to be the one that they also tried to push out the door. And then another car might not even have all that. And then you have your mobile homes, your trailer homes, that one might be a double wide and one might be a single. Well, the two prices, they still very expensive, but the one who is loaded with everything, like the double, probably will have a jacuzzi tub in it. It's going to have all that good stuff in it. That's going to be higher in price than the single home. So they base the price off of each individual item. Okay? So that's the Pacific Identification. That's used in places that sell things like that. Okay? Like I told you a few minutes ago, most cars have different accessories inside of it. One car might have expensive rims, one may not. Then one might have an upgraded stereo sound system, one may not. One trailer or mobile home might have a jacuzzi tub in it with mirrors in the ceiling and mirrors around the wall, one may not. Okay? So in these type of job fields, that's what it's called. Pacific Identification. That's when it comes, why is this higher than that right there? Okay? And that's like they the same thing. Like you have two cars, but why is this car higher than this car? Because this car is loaded and this car is not. Or this car has rims, this car does not. Okay, so that's what the specific identification means. Okay, and it also applies to high-end computers. So if you go somewhere that sell computers, it's the same way. One computer might be loaded and can do a whole lot of things. Some computers can take pictures, it can do videos, it can do all that. And then there's some computers that you could just search things, but it doesn't do all the recording and taking pictures and things like that, you know. So also the specific identification works with computers as well. So if you're working in an area, like if you work in an electronics store or you work in a mobile home store field or you work in a car lot, this is what they do, and it's called specific identification, okay, for the high-end stores. And that's just how it is, you know. They sell trucks, they sell cars, they sell all kind of things that have different prices. They the same thing. You might have two style cars that are exactly the same model car, same year car, but one might be more expensive than the other one. You say, why? They both the same. It's the same year, it's the same color, it's the same everything. Why is this car more than this car when they're the same? And that's when they'll tell you, oh, because this one is loaded. This one have a surround system. It has a video set on the inside. It have rims, or it has a talking GPS or whatever, but this one doesn't. So that's why this one is higher than that one. So that is the specific identification for those areas. So I just gave you that first in. I gave you that, the first in, first out. We know that's all about the restaurants. I gave anybody that sells food, not just restaurant. Anybody that sells food. You go to gas stations, they sell a little food, they sell juice, and they sell milk, and they sell chocolate milk, they sell all those things. Anybody that sells food, they go by the term first in, first out. Then you have the last in, first out, which is like your jewelry stores, your furniture stores, your CD stores, you know, appliance stores, something like that. Then you have the specific identification. The specific identification are your car lots, your mobile home lots, things of that nature. That they sell mobile homes, traveling trailers, places. They use the specific identification term. Okay, so that was your chapter 5. It was fairly quick because I'm going into depths of everything that you would need to know that goes along with your inventory process, and I'm just giving you all these good knowledge and good things so that you would know the different terms and different things in case you go into a retail field, or you go into a food field, or you go into an AutoZone field, or you go into an airport field, or you go into a hair salon field, or you go into a car lot field, or you go into a traveling trailer field. It doesn't matter. You all know how to tackle all of it, and all of it is tackled the same way for its inventory, and then you have these certain terms that go with these different companies. Okay, so that's it for today. I see y'all next week, and next week we will be on chapter 6, and we'll be moving right along. And then in a couple of weeks, we definitely, I think next week, I have to check, not for sure, don't want to say, but I know if it's not next week, it's the week after that we go into the budgeting. And remember, I always told you that the same way you budget the company is the same way you can budget your own money. Okay, and you can put yourself on a budget plan. The same way that you budget the company money, you can budget yours. Okay, so anyway, that's it for today. See you guys later. See you next week. Don't forget to tune in to the videos with me and Jay. Those videos come out on Sundays with me and Jay, and the inventory videos come out on Wednesdays. Okay, so please click, like, and subscribe. See y'all later. See you next week.